everybody. Welcome to International Ball. National teams in action. I have the great pleasure of having two very good friends of mine, Coach Chris Daleo, who is from the United States, has coached college, won a championship at the former minor league at the CBA level, and recently he has coached professionally in Thailand. Both won the championship in the league and qualified teams to play in the Asian championships, club championships, and is also Thailand's head national team coach. So we're going to be talking to him about Group A of the FIBA Championships, FIBA Asia Cup 2021-22. And I also have another good friend, Coach Pablo Favarel from Argentina, has coached a number of youth level teams, as well local Argentinian league, and has been with the Venezuela national team, which appeared in played in the World Championships in China, and was just recently with the team that played in the FIBA 2021 AmeriCup that just was in Buenos Aires in Argentina. So looking forward to bring these guys on. Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Hello.
Good. So, Chris, why don't we talk about
what?
Okay, Pablo, we got you there. I think you got a little bit of a loose connection, but I'm going to start with Chris.
Okay.
Chris, you've been coaching in Thailand for a minute, and your national team, played in the Group A. I know that you follow that group very closely, and obviously the world pandemic has shut basketball around the globe, and just take us through a little bit of some of the actions you followed there, and what's been happening there in the FIBA Asia Cup.
Sure. Well, when we had played, I was named head coach of the men's national team for Thailand for the SEA Games, which was in the Philippines last year, and we got on a good roll. We played some very good basketball, and we won the silver. We lost in the gold medal games against the Philippines. We kept that rolling then into the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, and that was in March. The first game we played was in Korea, which, as you know, so strong. They were ranked 30th in the world at the time. Thailand was ranked 105th in the world at the time, and we played them really well. We were gaining a lot of momentum. We lost by 7. Actually, we had a last-second shot that if that would have fallen, it would have been at 5. But it was a lot of momentum. The next game we were supposed to play the next day in the Philippines, but that was canceled due to COVID. So at that point, I went home. Everything because of COVID got shut down. And then now this second window has opened up this past week for Thailand to play the Philippines twice. They had to make up their one game that they didn't have before. Then they had to play Indonesia and then the Philippines. So those were the 3 games that Thailand just recently had in their window. And then the next window is February, where they have Indonesia and I think the Philippines again. But the last one, which was just recent, which you want to talk about, is Thailand, Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines.
Okay, so let's get I guess pull up the sleeves and get into it. Look, this has been a very challenging times in terms of I think general management to start with, putting rosters together. This is tremendous work for federations to come in the world. While the world is going through the pandemic. Bringing the rosters. Some countries have different rules and regulations because now you got to bring in players internationally to your local country. You won't practice, I'd imagine, if you can, if the laws permit. And then from there, you got to make the transition to go to the host location to participate. So, in your mind, how do you deal with all these factors as a head coach?
Well, it's not really a controversy, but the big topic of conversation for the Philippines team was their professional players. They were playing in the Philippine Basketball Association, who normally would play for their national team, where it's playing in their league in a bubble. So they could not participate in this game. So they then went to, college kids. So that was the big thing there for the Philippines was, how are we going to get the best college kids? How are they going to play together? What's the short window of practice time that they're going to have? And then to bring over the Philippines with the momentum that we had gathered, what type of teams is Thailand going to produce? How are they going to have short windows of practice? And so that was really the topics of conversation, at least on the social media sites, as to, what kind of games, what kind of preparation is going to be for the Thailand versus the Philippines. Thailand versus the Philippines. So cadets versus quote unquote Thailand professionals.
Wow, it's extremely difficult because yet you have a lot of the federations, presidents or managements. They have, they want to produce results, and there is such a heavy burden of pressure that comes with that in terms of producing in these conditions. But I mean, how realistic is that really?
Well, it goes with something, as and a lot of these coaches that are watching and a lot of coaches know, it's how well you prepare, how well you can foresee the future and what you're going to do to prepare for all that. I know in my conversations with Thailand prior to them playing, it was, we had, there's quarantines involved, there's flights involved, there's testing involved, and you just have to be prepared for all that stuff and make all your decisions early, and if not, you get steamrolled and left behind. So I didn't go. I stayed in the United States due to so many factors. They sent Thailand sent a Thai coach. They put together a group of 10 players, not 12, but 10 players, and they went and played. And then the Philippines, like I said, they took their cadets and they took their stuff, and away they went.
So for friends and family that are just everybody that's joining us, I'm here with Chris Daleo, head coach of Thailand's men's national team. We're talking about FIBA Asia Cup 2021, whose team was in Group A. I'm also on Chris's Instagram page here.
Oh, be careful.
With you, I'm not worried.
Okay. But the big thing for the first game, Thailand lost 93-61. And I just think, I watched the game obviously, and it just was the overall athleticism of the young kids of the Philippines playing so hard that even though they hadn't played together in a certain system, they just ran the floor, and Thailand just wasn't truly prepared for that athleticism, and it really showed the hunger and the passion of the Philippines players. Not to say that Thailand didn't have it, but it really was they really played well for such a short window of preparation.
Well, that Thailand is located in a very basketball competitive region of the world, because it takes on in group play or in qualification games for different events. You got China, you got Japan, you got South Korea, which you got even from the Western Asia, you got Iran, Lebanon. That they really look to compete to get spots for World Championships and or Olympics. So it's a group of very heavy hitters, if you will. And so what is the national team perspective in terms of growth and development for the future the future of Thailand?
Well, I think when we won the silver this past year in the Philippines, that was the first time that Thailand ever won a silver medal in 6 years. So that really, I had hoped that it really opened up some eyes to the true potential that Thailand has. I think that they lack quality bigs, which there's a player there that we'll talk about as we go on that really played well one game with 34 points, but they don't have depth in their bigs. So when you have to play the Philippines, like when we played them in the SEA Games, they had 3 7-footers on their bench, all skilled, and then a 6'9" kid, Christian Stan Hardiger, that is just a bulldozer down there. And you just can't match up with that. So I think that's one thing as a country they have to do. They might not necessarily have the size-wise, but they have to continue to develop their bigs. I'm sure that's like a lot of countries. And for people that don't know, bigs always, and as you know, bigs always develop late. Lanky and coordination and everything else when they're younger. But you have to project of where they're going to be from 16 to 22, and you have to work with that. And you just can't. Everybody likes guards because they can always be flashy and get up and down and score at all ages. Where bigs are always slower to develop.
Do you think part of this strategy, while the National Federation of Thailand is looking to improve and grow, may be in a solution in part in terms of placement of some of their future assets, say in prep schools in North America or sending them to college for development? Do you think that strategy may help?
Well, I know in Thailand they don't send anybody over, like other places. Like Kai Soto, 7'2" kid from the Philippines. He's playing in the G League now. So did he get sent over, by the government, or I don't know how that all worked, but he's over there playing. I know that anybody with a Thailand passport or with Thailand bloodline, so much like in Vietnam or other places, and you're playing in the United States, they try to target those players to bring them over. Tyler Lamb played at UCLA, played at Long Beach State. He's been a Thailand mainstay for many years. Moses Morgan's another one, played at DePaul. Just players like that. There's a Harvard kid, Justin Bassey, which I don't know who is still going to play, but you keep those players on your radar because they play in the United States, and then they bring them on over to play. I know Vietnam now just brought in a kid, Christian Guzman. He's a point guard who just graduated from Harvard, who is playing for the Saigon Heat of Vietnam, a very good player. So they're going to cultivate him for their national team. So those are all things you have to look at. You got to look at these players.
Of course, for everybody that's watching, we're here with Chris Daleo, the TBL champion, and also currently the head coach of Thailand men's national team. We're talking about basketball in Thailand, and some of the opportunities and programming that we have actually on International Ball page, is talking about national teams in action. We're going to take a quick break. I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the features we have on our show and how we're always looking for participants. We're looking for contributors for International Ball page community. So we'll see you in a moment. So here is one of the concepts that we've had on International Ball is Athlete of the Week. So for our friends who are watching this and they feel that there is, they can refer any Athlete of the Week, a player that has achieved a certain level of success academic, athletically within their country. We want to hear about you. We want to hear from you. We want to hear about the player. We want to do a feature live webcast with the player to be able to talk and promote mental health and just have basketball conversations. So we're here again with Chris Daleo. as we continue to talk about the local league. Chris, let's take it back a little bit about the time that you won the championship with, I believe it was Vano team. Is it the team that you won the championship with in Thailand?
High Tech is the name of my club,
Okay.
and I actually won five championships. Don't shortchange me.
Oh, forgive me. I stand corrected. Thank you.
No problem. I'll gladly correct you on that.
Good.
We won 5 championships at High Tech. I've been very fortunate there. The ownership, Boss Nippon, does a great job of providing me with some great athletes. The biggest things that I had to deal with when I got there was just getting everybody on the same page, working around some of the commitments that they've had with school and with other things going on, and then understanding the concepts that I wanted to put forth on the court. And then once all that took hold and took place and meshed together, we've been on a run. Absolutely.
Well, Chris, I mean, 5 championships, that's not easy in any country at any level.
Thank you. Check it in the mail.
So, no, I mean, to tell the truth, hence why this is you're such a tremendous asset in the country of Thailand, and in terms of what you accomplished there in your journey, and of course your story is a very unique one. Having started from the U.S. colleges and making the transition to CBA again, establishing winning records and continue the journey to what is next for you, and how do you feel you may make your continuance of your career?
Well, it's a big, bold world. I just truly, for me, being at my age and what I have going on and what I really look for, I really enjoy more than anything else is just trying to surround myself with like-minded people who are enthusiastic and energetic, who want to be around good basketball, want to talk good basketball, want to teach good basketball. And that's kind of where I feel that I really want to be more than anything else. Some people are driven by, they want a dollar amount. Some people want to be driven by, I want to be able to win a certain amount of championships. But me, I find great pleasure in being around very good players, a very good organization, surrounding myself with a lot of positive people, and that's kind of where I'm at. I think, with COVID being what it is and borders being closed, it'll be interesting to see what pops up next. I know Thailand has a second window coming up in February, and then they have the SEA Games after that in November. And I know they're going to, Indonesia has improved, Vietnam has improved, Malaysia has improved, and they all want to, and certainly the Philippines won the gold. They all want to do good things. So, it'll be interesting to see. But for me and my personal, if you really want, if I can be selfish and just talk about what I really want, I really just I love doing basketball, don't get me wrong, but I love it when I surround myself with people who are like-minded, energetic, happy, positive people that want to win and teach and be part of good basketball. Players and coaches and management all together. I think that's bliss for me. That's heaven for me.
Well, that's wonderful, Chris, and I certainly wish you well with that. Unfortunately, we lost Pablo. We were hoping to have a conversation with Pablo due to the internet connectivity. So we will, hope to have him on board on another show. But thank you so much for doing this. I'm looking forward to staying in contact with you and bringing you in and picking your brain in terms of some of the games that's been going on, and we'll continue on in the next window or other basketball that's happening.
Thank you. I just think for your region, I think for those fans of basketball around the world, I think you really have to look at the Philippines and how they're moving up because they want to be in the World Cup. And what they're doing with some of the players that are overseas, and that situation, they really are doing a fantastic job of building up their core of positive players. I think that's big. Indonesia that we faced in Thailand, they just brought in a naturalized center in Lester Prosper at 6'11". That's something that a lot of countries aren't doing. So they naturalized a big man So that immediately makes them stronger. And because we had beaten them in the SEA Games, and I think they really took that, really took that to heart. So they naturalized a big. So it's going to be interesting to see how Indonesia does going into the third window, and then going into the SEA Games with Lester, who's an outstanding player and really a good guy. I talked to him; he's really a good guy. And then you have to look at what's going on in Thailand, and then I think Vietnam basketball is improving all the time, and they're looking at trying to bring in players from the States with a passport or with bloodlines, Vietnamese bloodlines. So that whole region, I think, is surging forward with a lot of real good basketball, and that's kind of exciting.
Absolutely, I'm actually looking forward to the FIBA World Cup that's going to be in the region. Hosted by Philippines, Indonesia, and I believe one other country. Must have slipped my mind.
Japan.
Maybe Japan. I think. But I think this will be a fantastic time in terms of seeing how the national teams continue growing and developing, not only from the junior ranks but also from the men's side, and also for the ladies' side. So it certainly is an exciting time. Man, I pray for a day that we can have a vaccine that works soon, and we can get back to our normal life and continue what we love doing, which is basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why that's your passion, my passion. It's great to be able to talk to people that have a passion for the game, that really want to sit down, and I love that more than anything else in the world. Whether it's former players who call me or people, getting on things like this, that you just talk to like-minded people that have the same passion. It's just fantastic. I love it. I love it. I live for it.
That's brilliant, Coach. Thank you for doing this. Look forward to talk to you soon again, and keep well.
Thank you very much, sir. Number one agent right here, people. Right here, number one agent.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.